I'm Maddie.
I'm Amber. And we're Witches Talking Tarot.
We are the weirdos in this one.
Like a song, like a sailor snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble. Sam.
Wow. Hey everybody, I'm Amber.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And today we have a fun little discussion that we're going to talk about that's very important to Maddie and myself as tarot readers. And what that discussion is the conversation about the etiquette for somebody who is sitting for a tarot reading, receiving a tarot reading, or requesting a tarot reading even, I think would be an appropriate thing to not only discuss, but maybe just start out with. When you know a tarot reader personally and you want a reading, let's talk about the etiquette with that, because we've both experienced this.
I also want to put in there also, if somebody is doing a live tarot reading, like Amber and I often do on Facebook, no set specific time. We just do it occasionally. So follow us on Facebook. Amber is a color people and tea leaves. But don't just get up in those comments and be like, read me. I want a reading.
I'm still here.
It's my turn.
Did you see me?
I will not give you a reading. I go out of my way not to give people readings who comment like, I want one, or like who's openly rude about it.
Right.
Give me a reading.
Most readers are going to grab the people that grab their attention if they're giving free readings. And obviously, if it's not free readings, well, then you're going to have to pay for it.
Right.
But when you're just me, you're probably, like Maddie said, going to annoy the shit out of the person. I'm the same way. I can't stand that. Sometimes I'll pull a card for you just to shut you up.
Right.
But I don't want to give you the energy of a full reading because, guys, tarot readings are energy. They drain energy from the person giving the reading, because when you are giving a tarot reading, you are either, like in my case, I am channeling from the spirits. Some people are doing intuitive readings, but then that means they're going inside and getting a message from within. Either way, that is energy. That is an energetic exchange, because usually, some people think that intuitive readings are like, I don't know. I just feel like intuitive readings still use a lot of energy. Yes, they use less energy than channeling a spirit, communing with spirits, communing with somebody's, higher self or what have you. But intuitive readings still take energy. All of this takes energy. Even if it doesn't, it won't wipe you after one reading, that's still your energy that you are giving to somebody if you're doing a free reading. So don't be rude about it.
And that being said, let's say either you did pay for the reading on the live.
Yeah, we're going to totally address that.
Or you were, the reader said, okay, you're next, and then they get jumbled up and you're not next. Try and be respectful and try and give grace, because when someone's doing readings back to back to back to back, first of all, like you said, it drains your energy, you get exhausted, and it can get kind of confusing, especially if there's a line. So you're more likely to I mean, I don't want to say you're more likely to get your reading, because like if you pay for it, or if the reader says you're in line, you're more likely to get done quicker and back in line if you're respectful about it and not like, hey bitch, you said you were going to do my reading.
Right, because like if you haven't paid at that point, you may just miss out on that free reading.
Exactly.
But also, like, outside of free offered online readings, if you personally know somebody that reads tarot, yes, it is enticing to think, oh, well, my friend Maddie reads tarot. I'm sure she'll give me a reading, and then be like, hey, Maddie, will you give me a reading? And Maddie, who does tarot readings for money, is understanding that you want a free reading, perhaps, and maybe even willing to give you a free reading. But then you're pushy about it. Well, are you going to give me that reading?
So here's my opinion.
This is like a two-pronged thing, because one, it's just the asking for the free reading in the first place is very presumptuous.
It's very rude. If you go to a tarot reader, speaking from my experience, like me as a tarot reader, if someone messages me and says, "Hey, I would love a reading. How can I pay you for that?" And we're friends, odds are I'm going to be like, "You know what? The first one's on me." You know what I mean? Not every time. Don't get entitled,
Yeah,
people.
first one.
First one, you know?
Introductory
And
rate.
that's if we're personal friends. And,
Right.
you know, but to assume that someone's going to give you a free reading because we're friends, we went to high school together. Okay, but I haven't talked to you in 10 years. Okay, we're Facebook friends. We may have known each other in high school, but that doesn't mean I'm going to give you a free reading.
Right.
And also, for some reason, I don't know, maybe you've experienced this. People that know I do readings that I know personally, they are the ones that are most likely to message me and be like, "Can you tell me if I'm pregnant? Can you tell me if I'm going to get a divorce?" These are not appropriate questions to ask your tarot reader. I don't think so anyway. I guess it depends on the reader.
Right. And this is something that I did think about for this episode. Because when Maddie and I do our online readings, we do generalized readings. When I do my readings, whether you're paying or not, you can think on your question, and I'm asking specifically the universe, what does this person need to know? The universe may give you the answer about your question. The universe may want you to focus on something else.
Yeah.
I'm asking the universe what it needs to tell you because that's the way I channel messages.
I agree.
Directly from the universe or the spirit guides or whatever. I use the terminology the universe, and
because it's so inclusive.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
and because like honestly, when I was doing readings this past Halloween at the Monster Ball, Monster Ball, I channeled somebody's message from their own fucking higher self because their own fucking higher self was saying, "Bitch, please,
I love
fucking do
that's
this."
fucking awesome.
Yeah, because like the first reading that I did, the woman was like, because here's another thing. Everybody's gifts are different. Don't presume what your tarot reader's gifts are. To walk up to a tarot reader and say, "What spirits do you see around me?" is very rude.
That's not a tarot reading.
Right.
That's a spiritual medium reading. Like totally different.
They're very different. Like
they can use a tarot card to do that reading or tarot cards to do that reading. But that is not specifically what a tarot card reader does.
Exactly. Like, I may channel messages from spirits, whether it's tarot cards or other mediums, but I'm channeling a message that is based on connection to spirit. I do not view spirits unless they reveal themselves to me. I'll smell them. I might hear them if they speak to me, but I'm not likely to see them. And that doesn't mean that I cannot channel the message because channel the message to a lady from her dead son. And it's happened before and it's very emotional for me, actually. But I can't see him. If he's standing right there, like maybe I'll smell him. Maybe I'll hear him. I'm not going to see him. And maybe it's just my own, like, because it's not an insecurity. I don't feel bad that I can't see things that don't reveal themselves to me. That's not where my gifts are at this moment. And at the same time, I know I can see things. So it's, it's kind of what the universe wants me to see or not see. I smell anything that comes like past me and I will hear it if it speaks to me. That doesn't mean my gift is any less than one who can see. It's different. It's just different. And so to walk up and be like, "So can you see the spirits around me?" when I'm offering tarot readings, I do find a little bit rude because then I feel like I automatically have to defend my talent to you, and I don't have to defend my talent to you.
I had some bitch, and I'm going to call her a bitch because this was the worst tarot reading that I ever gave. I have to share the story now. I know we're not, like, I just have to. The first thing she says to me when I'm doing a reading at, it was a store opening, is I said, "What's your name?" "Well, aren't you supposed to tell me that?" Okay, already red flag.
Yeah, we don't know
you're gonna turn around and say Alyssa or some dumb shit. Like
that's not how a tarot reading works.
No, and you have to know that. You have to know that.
But it brings up a great point that I wanted to address is you are asking this person for a tarot reading. Don't be trying to test them. They're already out giving readings. That is energy. It is when people try to test me or close their energy off to me, I get the worst splitting headache and I get nauseous. So you're literally like making them sick. Sorry, I just because like
No.
she's trying to test you when she's like, "What's my name?"
Or aren't you? Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to know? I'm sorry. Aren't you supposed to know it?
Well, first of all, it's just ridiculous. Like because it's like
It's not.
you know that's not what a tarot reader does.
Yeah.
But also, it's like,
well, if you don't know, that's not what a tarot reader does.
Yeah.
Seriously. If you thought because you had a tarot reader who was like, "Oh, blah blah blah," well, that person maybe, but not all. And that doesn't mean the other tarot readers are any less than.
I am not Madden Theron. You know what I mean? Like these are totally like different things. But
they are.
Anyway, so she comes up and I give her reading, and this is going to go into a different form of etiquette when it comes to receiving a reading. And I try to always tell people, and I didn't with this lady. I probably should have, and this is why I always tell people. And you can ask Amber because we both say it often. You can't hide anything from the cards. If you want
to hide shit, don't get a tarot reading.
Don't get a tarot reading. Do not. I know that Amber did a reading. We did one. Well, it was like we were together. We were taking turns, whatever. Okay. And I was just thinking, oh, that happened. But also, I was thinking about the time you gave somebody a tarot reading, and the cards basically revealed stop fucking around on your significant other.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And it's like there are no secrets. If you want to get a tarot reading,
and I'm a nice enough reader that I won't call you the fuck out, but not all readers.
Well, and I'm just over here like, look, if you want to get a tarot reading and you're screwing your best friend's boyfriend, don't get a tarot reading with your best friend.
Yes, you still have your story to tell, but also that was one thing I wanted to bring up is do not get a tarot reading when you're with other people when you're hiding shit. Because when I am doing a tarot reading for a wife and the husband's right there and the lover's reverse comes up and so does the fucking Knight of Swords or the Knight of Wands,
Three of Swords.
I know what that means. Or the Three of Swords, or the Two of Swords. Don't make me say it, but maybe it's him. Either way, don't get the reading with your fucking spouse there.
No, seriously.
Like if you think they're fucking around, or if you're fucking around, either way, you're putting me in a very uncomfortable situation. Because I am not the tarot reader that will call it out. I will say in a manner like, so this is what this could mean. But I also know that you're fucking, like, you guys are a relationship in front of me. So, because I had a reading like that on Halloween where they were a couple and it was very obvious that he is fucking around.
It's weird because, like you're doing a reading like that. It's a couple. You pull the Three of Swords and it's like, look at the card. It's usually depicted as a fucking heart stabbed by three swords, which often depicts an affair.
Or the Seven of Swords, which is the betrayal card.
Right.
Both of, like, it means somebody's lying to you or you're lying to somebody else.
Yeah. So, like, I'm not trying to scare anyone.
Yeah, I'm not trying to scare you away, but that's a good point to make because I did want to bring it up because it puts the tarot reader in a very awkward situation. And I know there are people that it's not awkward for them at all. Well, they enjoy doing that. For me as a reader, it's very fucking awkward. I do not want to be like, somebody's fucking around on somebody.
Well, because
and you're the two somebodies where it's one of you.
Exactly.
I don't want that. Exactly. Or even worse, you're fucking around on them with somebody else, and the card is saying that the other person's fucking around on you. Now I gotta tell you in front of the innocent person.
See,
don't put me in this situation, guys.
I am the type of tarot reader.
Not to be hired.
No, because I am the type of tarot reader where I fucking love it when it's one-on-one. Like, send them away and let's have a conversation. Let's spill the tea, please. Have that tea and tarot. I will pour you a cup of tea and you will tell me all about him and why he is better than him. You know what I mean? But like you said, when they're together, I like to use the term, and I've used it many times, especially with you, tarot. Yeah. I love being a tarot. I can't be a therapist when the person you're cheating on is right next to you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you're going to have to, like,
Yeah, I do enjoy the therapist aspect, but not in that specific. I really, it's a personal thing.
It's the drum. It's the drum.
No, I just for me it is the act of cheating on your
No,
significant
no,
other.
no.
That's what bothers me. And so like when it's that specific, be there. Don't make me a part of
Listen,
it.
guys, that was just an example.
No, that was the exact example I was
Okay.
going to bring up when I brought that up, but you did it. And so I was
Right.
like, let's talk about this.
Like,
because
I will be your
It's
therapist
awful.
about something else too, not just
Yeah.
that. Like, please
Yeah.
know that I'm not just
I'm
over
gonna-
here like, oh, tell me all about
yeah.
that. Like, if
I'm
you're
gonna help you save your house.
Yeah. It's like, oh my grandma just passed away. Well, I'm telling you right now, someone wants what you got. Which means
Your boss is a bitch. Quit your job. Write that novel. Using actual readings, guys.
readings.
Actual readings. We've given.
Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the reading we gave. And it was someone pretty.
Her best friend just died, and we were talking about friends.
Yes.
Yes.
No. Was
like
it?
the reading had to do with. Oh, that
was
one.
her
This is totally
husband.
different.
That
okay.
was her husband.
We also did a reading about somebody, and it was like basically they had this great and sudden loss, and it was really painful, and like and she's like, yeah, my best friend died today, and we were like, oh,
yeah, dude, that is awkward.
painful.
I do have to like put this out here as well. At least when it comes to me and Amber, and I hope it's okay to speak for both of us because I've been saying me and Amber a lot of time, but
We talk about
we
it.
read all the time and we do it often together. But confidentiality is very important when it comes to tarot reading. That's I guess if you want to share your reading, well then you feel free to share your reading.
Yep.
But we're sharing readings, but we're not giving out names.
Yeah, we're not going into detail. Like, there's a
Yeah.
lot that every single time I talk about a reading I've given, I'm leaving out quite a bit of the things that were
Exactly.
discussed.
Mhm.
Because, A, if you're listening and you go, oh, I know that's me,
Mhm.
you also know I'm leaving like half of it out.
Exactly. So it's
You know,
very
for your
important to.
anonymity.
I guess that's more etiquette for the reader
Yeah,
itself.
it is.
Don't be
Or-
sharing readings and giving out personal information. Don't use tarot cards to spy on people. I don't know. That's just me.
I guess that is
guilty,
reading etiquette.
But like,
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone's guilty. I didn't say it was okay. Do as I say, not as I do.
That's so funny.
I don't do it often.
Yeah.
I've
No.
only done it like a couple times because I fucking hate. I don't want to know. You know, I
Yeah.
think when you first start out as a reader, of course, like for me, I constantly wanted to give myself tarot readings. I almost never give myself tarot readings anymore unless it's for like a holiday or the new year. But that's simply because I've realized personally, I don't want to know what it's to come. That's just me.
I do not give myself tarot readings anymore
Also-
for the most part. However, every time I do readings,
Mhm.
especially at my live events, I get tarot readings, whether I want them or not.
Yeah.
Because I know which cards are for me and which cards are for my city.
Right.
And,
right.
yeah,
Well, and that's
and
totally different, I think. Like,
Right. No, and what my point is just that the energy's gonna tell you, right? One way or another. It's gonna tell you.
well, and
Like,
for me,
what
for
I've
me, it's
found
not
is
just
whether
like.
I want to do the reading or not.
Well, and
Yeah.
for me, it's like I don't want to seek. If it comes to me, then it comes to me. But I'm not going to seek. And also, I think giving myself a tarot reading, this is just me, my personal opinion as a reader, I feel like my opinion on the reading for myself is too biased and I read too into it. I know multiple people that feel that same way about giving themselves readings. And then I know other readers are just like, no, it's fine. So for
me, it shows me the things I don't want to see about a situation.
Mhm.
It makes me be more realistic and
Mhm.
more other-sided. Basically, it's like having a conversation with a friend.
Uh-huh.
And it's what my friend would tell me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that's what I found when I give myself readings.
Mhm.
That's my relationship with the cards. You know what I mean?
It's really hard too, because like if you're too close to like a situation, let's say for example, you're in an argument.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying this is me. It smells really good in here. It smells like. Is that what somebody's making?
That's what Corey's spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Yeah.
But anyway, if I'm like in an argument, I don't want to do a reading because I'm gonna be like, I just feel like again I'm too biased, and I think it's really not to toot my own horn, but I think it's kind of mature of me in the sense to be like I'm too biased to be able to read this situation clearly, as opposed to reading the situation and being like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's why I don't put my own opinion on any reading I do, pretty
Right.
much. Like, I want the message to be as clear as possible for whoever the receptor is, right? And that's something, when it comes to being a sitter etiquette, you don't have to tell us the tea, but like, I, as a reader, am always going to be like, this is what the cards are saying. I don't know exactly how that applies to you. I hope you are, picking up what the cards are putting down, because I think it muddies the waters too much. And it's because I've had too many readings where the tarot reader was like, oh, well, this means this, and I'm getting visions of this. And like, they muddied the message so much that a couple of the readings, I still have no fucking clue what that bitch was trying to tell me. But in other ones, I walked away from the reading thinking this is a bunch of bullshit. And then later came to understand what it was the cards were saying. But the tarot reader muddied the waters by being like, oh, well, I think this means this, and I think this means that. And that's why I choose to do the readings the way I do them. And I do them for other people and myself in that same manner. This is what the energies are saying about whatever it is.
Well, and I think that has
and
everything
how does
to
that
do
hit
with
you?
like being mature as a tarot reader. When I say maturity, I don't mean like, oh, you're just a baby. I mean like,
no, yeah, like the level. Yeah, some
Yes,
people go
exactly.
to the cards for everything.
right.
Like,
Well,
the
and those
energy
are a lot
people
of
like
new,
that.
those
FYI.
are a lot of new readers will go to the cards for everything. Or so when you mature as a tarot reader, you either mature into I don't want to give this reading because I'm going to be too biased, or I'm mature and I can erase that. I could take a step back and see it without the bias.
Yeah.
It really depends on who you are as a person.
It does.
But it's very important to have that separation.
Right. And as a sittee, it's very important to understand that if your tarot reader is not putting all that shit on there, it's because they're trying to leave it open so you fully understand the message being brought to you. And so to not help your tarot reader out at all, like, I get not wanting to spill your tea. That's fine. I rarely do I encourage my sitters to spill their tea unless they look like they want to say something. You know what? You can read people.
I'm not gonna lie. I really like the tea spilling to come after the reading, because if it comes during the reading, I feel like it affects my reading.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I'm
absolutely. And that's what I mean. Like, at the end of, after I've given you everything that the message says, I usually talk with my sitter a bit, and I think some people think that that's because as a reader, I'm unsure of myself, but that's not the case.
No.
And that's another thing I wanted to talk about with that etiquette piece is you have to understand all tarot readers are different.
Well, and you
so if you're
learn
buddies
from
with
every
somebody,
reading that you give. So when you're giving this, or not necessarily giving this information, when you're having that conversation, I like to call it spilling the tea, because tea and tarot, whether that's what you're doing or not, the tarot reader is actually learning from the reading. They're learning, okay, I got this accurate. This feeling that I got about this card was correct.
Yeah,
this, this thought that I have, oh, Granny died and this happened and now they want this and this. Well, that was an accurate feeling. So it's really validating as a reader, one, because it allows us to understand that the feelings that we're feeling are accurate. Not saying you need validation, but you get what I'm saying. Like, okay, so I felt this feeling and it was correct. I felt this feeling and maybe that's not exactly what was going on. So I can learn in another reading, if I feel this feeling, okay, let's try and look at it through a different lens. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I just feel like every time I do a reading, I learn. You just keep learning as a reader.
That threw me off.
I'm so fucking sorry. Oh,
no, that. But I just think that too many people have met a tarot reader, or they have watched something on TV with a tarot reader, or they've watched a reality show about, these kinds of things, and they go, well, this is how a reader is supposed to act. And when a tarot reader doesn't act that way, the sitter is disrespectful and giving less credence to what's said. And part of the etiquette of a sitter is you have, just like everybody is individual, so are tarot
No
readers.
two reader will do it the
Yeah.
same. Like
Like-
Amber and I do readings together often. We haven't lately because I've been on maternity leave.
Right.
But like that, we do our readings
All the time.
completely different.
Mhm. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Even in the
completely.
picking of the cards, like
Mhm.
Maddie says that the way I choose cards is almost like ASMR-ish. But like my cards heat up.
It totally. I'm just over here, like I could see it being on YouTube, like like the hand specifically. It's not even the sound; it's just the movement of it. It's very relaxing and very calming.
Yeah, but and that's just how that is how I started to, I don't know, like have my hand
That's how it
chakras heated up.
manifested for
Yeah,
you.
like it wasn't always like that, but now it is always like that with every deck. That's how it is. And I would think that maybe some of it is psychosomatic for me, except I haven't had anybody say, "Oh, that's not an accurate reading."
It's psychic,
right? Except for the assholes who want to be tested.
right? Okay, so I've got to, I've got
that
to tell
story
my
because
motherfucking story. So the worst tarot reading that I ever gave, was a woman in person, and it was at an opening of a store. And she came in. First thing I say is, "What's your name? Aren't you supposed to tell me that?" She sits down. It was two old ladies, and so I'm giving her reading. And as I'm giving her reading, she is completely blocking her. Like,
hate it.
And it was like
we
she
know
was,
when you're doing it.
yes, and she was doing it intentionally. It was like she came into the room and came up to me with the intention of trying to And as I say that out loud, I think that's exactly what happened. It was almost like tarot readers aren't real, and I'm going to prove it that they're real. So as I'm shuffling, I'm talking to her. She's blocking off her energy. I give her reading, which says, she's been fighting with someone. In my head, I automatically know it's her daughter. I just know. It's
Yeah. Sometimes you just
you
know.
just know.
Yeah.
And basically what the reading said was you need to take a step back and maybe take a look at the situation through a different perspective and maybe see your, wrongdoings, your faults, maybe take some accountability so the other person feels like they can take accountability. But it was definitely saying you needed to take accountability about what's going on. And that pissed her off. She said so loudly the entire store could hear, "Nope, that's absolutely not accurate. You're not a real tarot reader." And I had a friend sitting next to me, and she was just as fucking shocked. And she said something like, "Well, I guess at least it's free," because she wouldn't shut the fuck up. And like you said, if you're receiving a free tarot reading, because I had already been paid by the hour by the people, she was like, then accept the free reading and shut the fuck up.
Right.
Like, not to be rude, but you see what I'm saying.
Like, accept when the cards say what you don't want to hear, because like, not this Halloween, but last year at Halloween, I had a couple come up to me, and they were testing me, and they were testing on purpose. And the cards told him that he had a gambling problem.
They just don't want to hear it.
And actually, it wasn't a gambling problem. Apparently, he bought too many vehicles, but I read it as,
it was a problem.
Gambling money. And it was a problem. It was a gamble. He would buy them and then sell them. That's a gamble, right?
Yeah.
And his wife was like, "Oh, she got you." And they were testing me, right? But at least he took good-naturedly that the cards called him the fuck out. So, like, at least be good-natured about it. Because it was the same situation. They were getting a free reading. I'd already been paid as entertainment. So,
like, this lady actually goes up to the owner of the store, and she's like, "That's a fake tarot reader," and was like bad-mouthing me to the owner. And I'm telling you all right now, that was an accurate reading, she did not want to hear that she was the problem, which leads me to believe that the reading was definitely fucking accurate because she didn't want to hear that she was the problem. Like you know what I mean? You're just
And
proving it.
here's the thing. Sometimes readings take a while to play out where you can see their accuracy or not. So even if you disagree with a reading that you get, bad mouthing the reader afterward because you are potentially hurting someone's career,
Literally.
definitely hurting their reputation. Because in the magical community, when people start talking about this person's a fake reader, other readers are going to try and test them. Like, it becomes very uncomfortable for the reader that you have put in question.
Yep.
And you might find 3 months down the line that that reading was 1,000,000% accurate.
Yeah.
I'm not saying yours was inaccurate. What I'm
No, but I
saying
get
is,
you.
whether you like the information you get or not, don't go around bad mouthing because that hurts reputation. And you will usually come to find, just like with those readings I got years ago that I thought were complete bullshit, they all came to pass. Like, that first reading that I ever got that lady put way too much bullshit on, everything that she said has come to pass in some way. It didn't come to pass as she said it, but it's come to pass in a way, right? And so, like, that reading could be seen as very accurate. But if I had gone around for the first 10 years after I'd gotten that reading and talked shit on that lady, I'd be in the wrong. And that's my point here, because that lady was in the wrong in every way. She blocked your energy. And I think sometimes people don't intentionally block.
Right.
I think she was blocking from the standpoint of tarot's bullshit. This lady doesn't know what she's doing.
Right.
But to walk up to somebody that's hired a tarot reader and say, that's a fake reader, you are wrong. Unless you have sat on that reading for a year. And even then, like I said, my first tarot reading, it took a long time for all of the things to come to pass. So if I'd gone around telling people in the city that this woman operated in that she's a complete fake, would I have ruined her business? Yeah. Because, like, I don't know, like, the blocking of energy really bothers me from a lot of aspects because you're coming for a reading. Whether you're blocking your energy because you're uncomfortable getting a reading, if you're uncomfortable, don't fucking do it. I say this as a tarot reader who has given a reading to more than one person who is like, oh, I don't know, and their friends are like, do it, do it, do it. That is the most awful experience for me as a reader. I actually refuse to do it with people who are on the fence now. If you're on the fence about the reading, I don't want to do it. I don't want to, and I don't have to spend my energy with you. I just don't. Like, and I don't know if that's rude for me as a reader or not, but I know the outcome is going to be unpleasant for both of us. Because the people who are unsure about a reading that get a very accurate reading, especially if it's a negative one, they are like 10 times worse off than they were before they got that tarot reading. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, when you're blocking your energy purposefully, you will make your reader sick. Like, I personally have had too many experiences as a tarot reader where the person has made me ill because of the way that they are being with their reading. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I just, like, Maddie and I have been doing an online reading where somebody was blocking their energy because the question was about people getting married. Ooh. Anyway, a glass broke because they were blocking it so bad. I got one card. Maddie got the exact same one card.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, and we refused. And it was a warning card. And I refused to continue trying. And the person was, like, making up excuses. No, they were blocking because they didn't want the truth to come out. Or their partner was blocked. I'm not sure who was blocking the energy, but it was saying, do not fucking get married. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Like, I hope that what we've had to say about the etiquette of sitting for a tarot reading has come out clearly enough. because you know how we like to talk in circles around here
I
and go
know.
off in tangents.
Well,
but
I was
feel
gonna
like it's
coming to
feel
a
like
close.
it's yeah.
I do. I want to come to a close by saying, do you have star cards? Because I have to bring that one up because I love it. I shouldn't. It's actually very rude.
I just finished because it took me a second.
What was it? Was do you have star cards?
Because I want to see Uranus.
God, I love him.
Brad Wolf.
If you don't
Hey,
ask
we
your
still
tarot readers
remember.
that. It's not funny.
God damn it. This motherfucker, we have to explain to them before we close. Okay, so we had somebody that I think it was a kid. I really think it was a kid
too. I really do. Like a teenager.
Yeah, he would
13.
something like that. Yeah, young teenager. He would come into our free online readings, and his name was Brad Wolf on Facebook, and he would say, "Do you have star cards? Because I want to see your
I feel like he had like a notification when we
He was just like in for it. He never got a reading. He never wanted a reading. He just wanted to know if we had star cards so he could see Uranus.
I miss you,
I
Brad
like
Wolf.
that guy. Yeah, yeah. He doesn't show up anymore. That's why I think he's a kid who lost his Facebook
Yes,
access.
seriously. Anyway, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Witches Talking Tarot.
You can find us on the X at Classiest Witches because we are the classiest witches you know. And if you would like a tarot reading of your very own, full of etiquette on both the reader and sitter side, you can reach us at witchestalkingtarot@gmail.com and get your very own tarot reading for $35. Do you smell that?
I do.
Something's burning. Anyway, thanks bunches to Victoria,
Melissa,
Death by DVD.
and Pam.
We appreciate you guys on patreon.com/witches talking tarot. And if you would like your spiffy own little shout out like that, you can go to the aforementioned link and support us. So thanks for coming to sit a spell. And if you want a tarot reading, we'd love for you to come sit a spell.
Bye.
That was good. I enjoyed that.